jab, 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 jab. Hey guys, Coach Pillowfist here, and today we're talking about adding power into your rear hook using lateral movement and angles. So in traditional terms, when we think of loading up, we're thinking about loading up our shoulders or cocking our hand back, right? But in this case, we're loading up using our feet, using our footwork instead of loading up with our upper body. So the magical combination is a 1-1-1-4, but there's a twist to that, literally. So when we load up in the conventional term, we're loading up like this, turning our shoulders back, and cocking our hand back, right? But in this case, using my footwork, I'm circling, circling, circling. All right, and that circling is kind of bringing my shoulder back as I circle. Right? So if I go jab, 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 just like that, I'm ultimately accomplishing that same thing by circling, and it's loading up my rear hand to throw that hook. Circle, 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 just like that. Now let's talk about how we're gaining momentum using our feet. Usually when we want to throw a ball or something, right, you step with your lead foot laterally and then you throw it really far, right? You're gaining momentum from that step with that lead foot towards the direction that you're throwing that ball. And it's the same case here with the rear hook. All right, when I'm stepping, I'm using my feet to gain momentum. And even without the circling, all right, I step over to my lead hand side. So this momentum that you're gaining from the lateral movement plus the upper body rotation from the circling comes a very powerful rear hook. Alright guys, so this is how it's going to look like on the bag. So it's very important that you guys are making a tight circle around the bag, alright? So I'm going 1, 1, 1, and then throwing that hook. Alright, so again, step, step, step. Now what you don't want to do is be making a wide circle, alright? Which means jab, 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 and I end up too far away from the opponent to reach him. Or another thing is, the wider your circle is, the easier it is for your opponent to see that coming. And the easier it is for your opponent to adjust to your angle. Alright? So you guys want to make a tight circle. Just like that. So when you guys jab, remember that you guys are stepping with your lead foot simultaneously as you throw that jab. Like that. And notice that my rear foot follows after I throw that jab. Alright, again. The most important thing is that you want your footwork to be in sync with your punches. Alright, so if you're off sync with that, you have to slow it down. If your footing is off, everything's going to be off. It's not worth it. So maybe not focus on power at first, just focus on the technique aspect of it. It's very important that you guys don't put power into your jabs because that's going to mess up the whole combination. It's going to slow down my combination, it's going to make it easier to see, easier to read, and it's going to take away power from my rear hook. So make it tap jabs. Tap, tap, tap. This technique is most effective in an Orthodox versus Southpaw situation. I want to make sure that my lead foot steps outside of his lead foot when I do that jab, jab, jab. So I'm going to go jab, jab, jab. So jab, jab, jab. Now if it's the same stance situation like an Orthodox versus Orthodox, it's a little more risky because I'm kind of walking myself right into his right hand. So be very aware of that right hand when you guys are moving out to this angle. One thing you guys can do to deter that rear hand of his is to jab a little bit higher when you guys do that jab, jab, jab. So if I do that jab, 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 alright, even though he threw that right hand at me, alright, the fact that my arm was a little bit higher when I threw that jab, it's going to kind of protect me, give me that extra protection from his right hand. Okay, so again, I'm going to go jab, 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 alright, and I can still throw my rear hook. If I were to jab a little bit lower though, so I'm going to go jab, 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 alright, his right hand is more likely to hit me. So two advantages of this combination is, for one, it gets me off the line into an angle, alright? Another advantage that I have is that my rear hook is coming from a very unorthodox angle. Because most people, when they see a hook coming, what do? They put those earmuffs on because they expect it to come to the side of their head. But if I throw a hook coming straight through the middle, it's a little more awkward for them. It's a little hard for them to see that. Their mind is trained to recognize hooks coming to the side of their head. Same thing if I go to the body, I go jab, 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 body. Which comes to my next point. You don't want to just go to the head all the time, right? Because then you're predictable. You want to change it up, go to the body with it sometimes, right? go jab, 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 go to the body with that. All right, so sometimes you go to the head. All right, sometimes you go to the body. Just like that. For example, when Canelo was fighting Billy Joe Saunders, he was using a very similar technique with the jab, 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 rear hook, right? But he was only going to the head, so Billy Joe Saunders was adjusting to that, right? Because in that 8th round with Billy Joe Saunders, if Canelo would have just went to the body with that rear hook, he probably would have got him out of there a lot sooner than that. But there you guys have it. I got a lot more combinations to work on with you guys in the future. You know, if you have any questions, please comment down below. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.